Hey you guys! Welcome to Poetry Week 2. Thank you all for being here and for submitting. It was so lovely to read everyone's poems. How are you guys doing this week? I feel like this week has been exceptionally rough for everybody, myself included. And come over here. Do you want to hang out with me? Come hang out with me. Come on, let's talk about poetry. Miss is gonna join us this time. But I just feel like it's been exceptionally difficult for everyone involved, which would be the whole world. And I just want to know how you guys are doing, how you're feeling. Are you having a rough time? And how are you dealing with that? And let's talk about it. Okay, we're going to get into our poetry. Our first poem comes from Madeline Minardi, who is new to our poetry workshop group, but she is not new to poetry herself. She is my oldest, dearest friend that I've known from 6th grade. And honestly, if it wasn't for Madeline introducing poetry to me at a young age, we probably wouldn't be here. So thank you, Madeline. This one is called Quarantine Day 28 Has Me Feeling Angsty by Madeline Minardi. I will glide from one darkness to the next, and a feather will offset my need to rest. I am wandering and broken, longing for a dream, a memory of the trees I once knew best, floating helplessly on a promise of the morning melody. So, this is liberation. Not a scribbled incantation burning bright in the celestial chorus, but transient wishes kissed by the wisps who danced before us. The bells chime on. I am tethered to your ways of the past as I dance from one side to the other, the pendulum twirling with me. I am caught in a copper wire and it burns, a simple truth that I have yet to learn. How I wish I could go back to the innocence of the years I once lived. Of mountains and mist and meadows and streams. Yes, these pleasures exist with me now, though the road to indulgence seems more impossible to climb with each passing day. Am I going insane? And the twisted vines of my soul are replacing the life within me, like the rivers we see from space, the veins. But I will beg you to help me ascend like a dance on the wind. I hope to climb ever up. Oh, beautiful. Madeline has just this beautiful way of being able to convey imagery and like this feeling. She's so good at that. So tell me what you guys thought about Madeline's poem. I thought it was beautiful. Next poem is by me. It is called Trauma. As I grow older, I can start to smell the trauma all over. I can reek of the stuff sometimes, myself it seems. I sometimes catch a whiff on my skin, perhaps the grease seeped into my very cells. 3 days without bathing in the backwoods of Oregon leaves a grime quite like mine. Remnants left behind, but all around me I can smell the thing quite well. It slaps you in the face, an open palm smack of cold water. I can almost watch the surgically reconstructed forms to cut down, conform, snuggle in nicely with the circumstances they've been born. And all of the sudden, there's less of that person that I thought was there before, and more of the reek of decaying old dreams, the grasping at straws and tearing at seams, and I don't blame them. I fall into the ranks with just as much ease. I've used the very same straws as something to cling. These people, my people, we stink. And sporadically flick a few wet drops of old sweat from the neck as we glide by your office door. I think of my own slick, sweat-covered back of just a few years past. I wonder what fresh new coat I've now borne. I'm working, I'm slaving, I'm so desperately shaving off every last inch of the smelly thick grease that completely coats the goal of making a life for me. And it seems to come off far too slowly. The grime sticks and clings. No amount of detergent brings any relief. In the same way, no amount of people surrounding can cut my own grief. These people that stink of their own sad demons remind me of me just this last season, reminds me of me without any tact or reason, reminds me of me when I so desperately cling to a form for which I can no longer give good explanation. for which I tell myself to slay thyself is treason. The script I replay in my brain and pray it will stick to the side and not slip away every day. I am just a little bit cleaner. The grease takes a while and clings with a vigor. It is tiring to be slick and slip through the hands of another, when I know I'd much rather a solid dry spot to recover. But it does not discount the few clean spots I see, the few fresh patches of skin. I know these people's demons well, and I do not desire to reek any more of the same smell, and I will slowly slough the stuff off of my own body until only ivory remains. I will remember these trauma-plagued people surviving, and each day I will choose to travel beside them, because that smell, that sick, putrid smell, is the very way I find my experience human. Okay. Our next poem is from Sarah Nolte Fuller, my dearest friend, who also, fun fact, was my theater director last year in No Sex Please We're British. And you guys, I've really been missing theater so bad. I'm sure most of you get that feeling. Sarah sent this to me in the mail. It was beautiful to hold a physical poem in my hand. However, I couldn't find a title on it, so for now, unless told otherwise, this is Untitled by Sarah Nolte Fuller. Have you got anything to say? Whisper your dreams my way, I'll put them on my plate, swallow them with my potatoes, conjure up my thoughts for you, we'll play tennis wearing slippers, ride the waves, and cross under the rainbow. You guys, who knew Sarah was such a poignant, beautiful, talented poet? I mean, of course she had that in her, we all do, but man, that is impressive. What did you guys think of Sarah's poem? Reawakening My Mind by Andrew Childers. It's been entirely too long since I've worked you out. A gentle push is all you ever need, yet it can be so hard to allow that to happen. Maybe a little less drinking and a little less weed. I've let you sit idly by and watch me amble along, feelings and desires to create and succeed. If only I let go of everything else and just let you be, I might realize how you make me, me. Wow, you guys, what did you think about that poem? I loved the simplicity and yet the strength and the deliberate words. I felt like this was such a relatable, deep, meaningful poem, and I loved reading it. And I felt like we all battle our minds sometimes, so tell me what you guys thought about Andrew's poem. Our last one we are going to end with is from Maddy Gourlay. This is called I Want to Know You. What are the things that make you jitter with joy? That makes your ears ring like a scene on TV toy? What fills up your heart with soda and bubbles, and just for a breath you forget all your troubles? What makes your brain buzz and sets the gears turning, grabs hold of your insides and gets the fuel burning? What starts your lips moving when all day you've been quiet? What picks at your focus such that you can't deny it? Can you remember? Do you dare? Are you still sewing up the tear from where it all escaped? Ah, wow, beautiful. Maddy's words are just so wonderful. This was so uplifting and felt so inspiring. I loved reading those words. What did you guys think of it? How did you relate to these poems? What was your favorite part? What did it make you want to write about? It was also lovely. Thank you everyone who submitted. Next week, our prompt is going to be 2 words. We did no prompt this week. Last week we had a prompt. This week, 2 words. Your prompt is the past. Anything and everything goes. I will see you guys next week for Poetry Workshop.